Hey guys, my name's Ryan McLean. I'm from Australia and I'm a Peach player. And I've been playing Melee for about 12 months now. And just wanted to talk about what got me into Melee. And I am definitely not the best Melee player in the world. And I have a lot of learning to do, a lot of practice to do. But it's something I'm very passionate about, and so I thought I'd create a channel because, hey, I can. So, what got me into Melee? Well, I used to play a lot of 64 as a kid, and by kid, I mean a high schooler. One of my friends had a Nintendo 64, and it was something about the competitive nature of Smash on Nintendo 64 that we absolutely loved. We would play for hours. We would spend entire nights literally playing 64. I mained Kirby and I mained Pikachu. He would play as Captain Falcon, Mario and Ness on 64, and we would just play it. I absolutely loved it. And I'm 28 now, so it's been a while since I've been in high school and played 64 with my friend. But my birthday came around last year when I was turning 27, and I thought, you know what I might get for my birthday? A Nintendo 64, so I could play Smash Brothers, because, you know, I love playing it. I even like playing it by myself, playing against the computer. I used to play against, you know, a couple of foxes at the same time, and I think the best I ever got was I would have 3 foxes all on level 9, and I could beat them on 64, but that was back in the day. Anyway, so for my birthday, I decided, you know what, I'm going to get a 64 because I love it. I'm going to get Smash Brothers on 64 because that's the only one I knew about. And so that's what I did. So on my birthday, I used birthday money. I think I spent about $300 or something like that buying a 64, getting a bunch of controllers and getting Smash Brothers, which is about 100 Australian dollars. Pretty expensive. So I got it, and then I was like, you know what I might do? Actually, what happened was I had my third child. I'm 28, I've got 3 kids. So I had my third kid. Oh no, there goes punch. Had my third kid, and you know, he ended up being slightly preemie, about 2 to 3 weeks premature, and he ended up in hospital for about 3 weeks because he couldn't feed himself and had to have a tube down his throat. And so anyway, in this time, I'm taking care of my other 2 kids, but my wife is at hospital with my son, taking care of him. And so what I would do at night is I'd watch a lot of YouTube because I love YouTube. And at the time I had my 64, so I'm like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to watch some, you know, Nintendo 64 tournament or championships and see what there is. So watch one of them, and YouTube suggested, you know, a lot of Melee stuff, and I'm like, Melee? That's the GameCube one, right? And I always thought the GameCube one was worse than the 64. When GameCube came out, it couldn't play DVDs. No one owned a GameCube that I knew of, and so GameCube just seemed like this, you know, horrible Nintendo thing gone wrong. And so I always thought that Super Smash Brothers on GameCube was just not going to be very good and just going to be a worse version of 64, which I absolutely loved. So I saw these suggestions from Melee. I think I watched one of them, and then I saw a suggestion for the documentary, and a lot of people that I've spoken to have gotten into Smash because of the documentary. And so my wife, I had 17 nights or 16 nights or something like that where I'd put the kids to bed, and then I'd have a few hours before, you know, I would need to go to sleep. And so I found the documentary, found that it was 4 hours long, and I'm like, a 4-hour documentary about a video game? That sounds absolutely awesome. And so I watched that documentary. I think I got through it in 2 nights, and I was, you know, absolutely super stoked when I found it. I was like, this is the best thing ever. And so it was literally, I think before my son was even home from hospital, I had purchased a GameCube. I remember telling my wife about it at the hospital that, hey, there's actually like a better game called Melee, and I'm going to get it. And so I bought the GameCube, bought Melee, and then, you know, started playing it as soon as I got it. And the reason that I chose Peach, who's my main, was when I got my 64 this time round, you know, I decided I was going to main Fox because I thought, you know, Fox was quite a good player. And so I main Fox, and then as soon as I came across to Melee, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to play Fox as well in here. And I'd heard, you know, after watching the documentary that Fox is one of the best. And so I'm like, yeah, I'll play the best. And then as I was playing, I just kept dying because I didn't understand the way gravity works and the way fast fallers work. And so I was playing with Fox, but I couldn't even play a game because as soon as I went off the edge, I just didn't have the reaction time or know what was happening enough to be able to, play as Fox. So I was just dying so much. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to pick a player who doesn't die all the time. Someone that I can get back easy with. So I played with a few players, hadn't unlocked everything at the time, and found Peach, and I was like, oh my gosh, look at this float thing. She's just so easy to get back. And so I picked up Peach and I started playing, jump into me. Oh. So I started playing as Peach. And then I started watching, some more, oh, he just always does that roll, doesn't he? I started watching some more competitive sort of stuff, started getting on Twitch, watching some of the tournaments, and I found out about Amada, and I found out about how good he was with Peach, and I was like, I have chosen the right character. Peach is awesome. I also like the idea that, Peach is just so demasculating. So when you beat someone with Peach, it's like you got beaten by a girl, and you got beaten by a girl in a wedding dress, and I kind of like that, and I'm always a bit different, and so I don't know. I like that I just wasn't the standard masculine character, and I'm a bit metrosexual anyway. I like, I've got a bit of a fringe. I like wearing nice clothes, and so I guess I fit into Ken's idea of what a Peach player is, and so I fit into that in terms of my metrosexuality. But yeah, so started playing as Peach, really liked it. And then started trying to find some tournaments locally here in Australia. I live in the Gold Coast, which is in Queensland in Australia. And I think I was going through, Smashboards or something like that. And I ended up finding out about a Facebook group for Queensland. And then I met a guy, Kami, who's a Fox player in Queensland, who's, probably, top 3 to 5 in Queensland. And started chatting to him, and he encouraged me to come to a tournament. I went to my first tournament and I lost every single game. I'd been playing for maybe 4 months at the time, and I did not win one game. Not I lost every single set, but I lost absolutely every single game. But I was one of the first people to get there and one of the last people to leave from the tournament. And so I absolutely, loved it and thought it was great. And then I found out that there was a Gold Coast crew as well, a bunch of people who played on the Gold Coast, and they had a Facebook group. So I got into that and met those guys, and went to a couple of meetups with them as well. And then just started going to tournaments every couple of months, and then we lucked out in terms of one of the guys in our crew knew a guy from Street Fighter crew, and they had a house where they would host events, and they said we could come along, and so we went to that. And then they ended up moving from the house to a shop, and every Tuesday night the event will be on. I love playing as Young Link just for fun, not because he's good or not because I'm that good with him, but I don't know, I just really enjoy Young Link. So anyway, we lucked out because then they had this shop that you'd pay $5 entry, but we could go every Tuesday. And so it was absolutely awesome to be able to go every week to Melee and know that it was on. And so as soon as that happened and I could go every single week, I just got really excited and really hooked on it, started attending even more tournaments, probably go to a tournament once a month or something like that. And that was, so between 4 months ago when I first started, a year ago when I first started playing, went to my first tournament after 4 months, and I've now probably been to, 6 or more tournaments or something like that. My best finish was I just went to New Zealand for a wedding, and I was so lucky because they were holding a tournament that weekend, one of their monthlies, and I came 5th in New Zealand. Otherwise, my best result was 9th in Queensland, but a lot of the good players were away when I came 9th. So, there was probably, 3 or 4 of the really good players were there, and a whole bunch were missing. Probably, 5 or more were missing. So I did get 9th, and I know, no Johns, but that's kind of a John of why I got 9th in Queensland. I don't necessarily think I am placed 9th in Queensland. I've got a long way to go. As you can see from my Young Link play, I have a long way to go, and so I love talking about Smash Brothers to people. I run my own online business where I create videos on a bunch of other topics like property investing in Australia. I've got one on public speaking. I've got a whole bunch of other websites and a whole bunch of other podcasts. And I was like, well, I like talking about this so much, why don't I just do it and start a website? And so I don't really plan to make any money from this, but it is an excuse for me to play Melee 15 minutes or so a day without getting in trouble. And by in trouble, I mean without not making any money, because I still, need to make money. Actually, I don't plan on making money from this. So really, it's just an excuse to have fun and to build it up and hopefully provide something interesting for new players in the scene to watch or to listen to or whatever. So this will go on YouTube, this will go on iTunes as well. And so, eventually I'll probably get some interviews with some Australian guys who play, with some local guys from Gold Coast. We'll meet up, we'll hang out together. Do I plan on streaming? Not 100% sure whether or not I plan on streaming. I need to work out the technicalities of that and how to do it, because I have no idea how to do it. But that's something I could do, but I don't know, just so time consuming. For me, I've got 3 kids, so I can't short hop, just so you know. I've got 3 kids, so I love watching YouTube, because I can watch it anytime I want. I can watch it in 2 times speed, and Twitch for me, apart from tournaments, just doesn't work out. So I might stream, but don't have any plans to do it in the future. Oh, boom! But yeah, so that's kind of the story of how I started Melee. I have no idea why I started playing as young Link. At one point, I was going to change from Peach to Sheik, because obviously Sheik is a higher tier player, a lot faster player, and I was like, you know what, Peach is probably not the best player, so maybe I should choose someone better. And I don't think I have the fingers to play a Spacey, and so I wanted someone that wasn't, as hard technically as Fox or Falco, but someone that was still pretty good. And for some reason, I don't know, Marth I don't enjoy playing as Marth. I do it sometimes, but my Marth is really bad. Woo! Like, my Marth is incredibly bad. And so, yeah, I started playing Sheik at one stage, but for some reason went back to Peach and just found Peach better. Just enjoyed it more, I guess. And so ended up staying as Peach, and, with a secondary young Link who is not very good, as you can see. But yeah, so that's my story of how I got into Melee. It was really 64 getting me into it, then watching the documentary and being like, yeah, Melee is awesome, I'm going to get into it. I worked my way through, unlocked all the characters, did all of that sort of stuff, had heaps of fun doing it, and then as soon as I went to tournaments, I was hooked. So just play a little bit more. I'll play this last game and then I'll close it off. One of the biggest problems that I do have as Peach is I just spam dash attacks, and I don't mean to, and when I play against good players, we got 2 good Captain Falcons on the Gold Coast. As soon as I do it, they just shield, punish, so something I definitely need to get better at. Even my float cancelled fairs, they're too slow, and I get punished for them as well. So I've got a lot of work to do, and I'll talk more about my technical skill and things that I'm working on as the podcast progresses. But I thought, I'm obviously not very good at Smash. I'm not the best player in the world. I can dash dance, I can wave dash a bit, but I can't really use it in tournaments. And, I've got all these bad habits like spamming. I can't do a lot of things like nair out of shield, wave dash out of shield, a lot more technical things. So my neutral game as well, I'm too aggressive. I should hang back, especially with the range of Peach, and, I should be pulling more turnips and hanging back and things like that, but I'm quite an aggressive player, so I've got a lot of things to work on, and I'm not a good player, and so I will probably talk about, some basic technical things to help new players, but I think really the goal of this is for anyone who's interested in seeing someone who's not a good player, hopefully become a good player. That is my goal. Oh, why did I go that way? Yeah, that's my goal of this, is to, see the progression. I'll put up some videos of me, I'll do some analysis on my own videos, and I'll see, what I can do better and try and improve, and then you guys can follow along, and hopefully it'll be interesting for some people, and you can see my progress. Oh my god, did you just see that? I just tried to waveland and I killed myself. So I'll try and get, you know, I've got a capture card now, so I'm going to try and set it up for our weekly meetups, so that I can capture some videos, and maybe once a week or something we can look at my friendly videos. Or the brackets, we run like an informal bracket as well, so we do it without any money, and then once a month I'm just going to start TOing with a friend of mine a paid bracket at the Gold Coast. So I'm going to get my capture card. I am going to try and capture some of those videos, and we can go through them and try and improve. So I hope that this is interesting to you. I hope that that this is going to be value to the community, that we can continue to grow the Smash community. And look, that's it from me, guys. Have a great day. Keep playing Smash, and I'll talk to you soon.